Welcome back, my fellow mobile gamers, to Saint Seiya Knights of the Zodiac, which is a manga series actually from back in 1986, and it was recently picked up by Netflix, who is now turning it into an animated series at the moment. And then 6 weeks ago, we got this new Android and iOS team-based strategy RPG called Saint Seiya Awakening, Knights of the Zodiac. And that's what we're gonna take for a spin today in my mobile gaming quest series right here on YouTube. Now, there are lots of team-based RPG on mobile, and actually, if you ask me, I think there are too many of them. But the thing that really caught my interest with this game in particular is that it has been developed in collaboration between Yoso, who I didn't know already, but apparently they are the publishers, and then Tencent, who are the development studio behind this game, and then the writer and artist Masami Kurumada, who is the original author and the owner of the Saint Seiya franchise. And when you've got so many companies and partners coming together to create one game, I figured that this would probably, at the very least, be a very high quality game. And now that I've played the game for a few days already, I can safely say that that is indeed the case. And there's also just a ton of content to dive into. So today, I figured that we could go through some of the core gameplay elements of this game, and we could talk about what I like and what I dislike about the game, and then maybe most importantly, try to conclude if Saint Seiya is actually worth playing if you don't know the franchise already, because obviously this game is going to be a great throwback if you know the series, if you read the manga or watched the animated series, but I've never read or watched it, and I'm sure many of you haven't either, so we'll try to conclude on that at the end of this video. So if we quit the main story mission for now, I want to go back here and show you just how many game modes we actually have in this game, and we can click this daily button down here in the bottom right corner, and that's going to give us a pretty good overview, because in addition to the main story missions and the side missions, we've also got epic ruins, we've got something called dimensions, we've got saints quests, which explain the backstory between each of our saints, which are our heroes, by the way. We've got Pope's Treasure, Daily Bounty, and just a lot of other game modes that are going to unlock later on as well. For now, though, let's actually go into one of these dungeons. I say we go for the epic ruins, because I want to see if we can defeat this Goliath of a monster. Just look at this stone giant here, it looks so cool. So let's start this solo challenge, and now what we can do is we can choose our lineup. This is my preferred setup and lineup of heroes that I've obviously already picked, but this is where you would then change it if you want to change things up. And then we can simply walk over here, I think, to tap this guy over here on the right side, and that's gonna launch us straight into the battle. That's so cool. Now, the main story that we're told throughout this game and the campaign missions isn't actually too bad, although I did feel that it was maybe a bit cliche. But if you know the franchise already, you're probably really gonna love it. And there is quite a bit of story to read and listen to as you play this game. Oh, look at it. Now we found the giant. This is the one we have to defeat. Oh, I love that. His special attacks look so cool. And I really like the fact that we can actually turn around the camera as well. We can look all around this battlefield. It is definitely a game that is above average in quality. What I found weird, though, is that they chose to go with Japanese voices for all the characters and the interactions, and that part actually makes sense. But then they created an English tutorial voiced by someone who's clearly not a native English speaker, which just makes it a bit cringy most of the times, if you ask me. But once you've survived that tutorial, though, you're let loose in the actual game, and at the core of everything is, of course, our team of saints. So now that we've completed this epic ruins as well, the timing here was actually perfect, let's go have a look at our saints. So currently I've got 6 saints, well I guess 7 if you count these very common heroes down here, but I don't really count those. These are our 6 saints. And of course, just like with any other team-based gacha game, these saints can be leveled up, their skills can be increased, they can go through something called rebirth, they can be evolved and just improved in many, many different ways. So for now, I think we're gonna stick with just leveling these guys up a bit. Let's get them to level, let's say we get them to level 18, and let's see if we can do the same for all of the heroes that we use at the moment. That should give them some more strength. Well, okay, maybe some of them can stay at level 17 or 16. We don't really have an infinite amount of these potions that we're using, these XP potions, but we do have quite a few of them. You guys can see in the top right corner that I think we have 670,000 of them, which is just an insane amount, of course. I'm not sure why they even chose to go with such high numbers. Each of these potions could have just given, 10 times or 100 times as much XP, and then we didn't have to go through that. But in any case, there are many ways to improve these heroes, and you should definitely do that as you play the game, because otherwise you're going to have a really hard time with the campaign missions, with the side missions, with all the dungeons, and so on. But that's all obvious and frankly not that interesting, so instead, let's go do something a bit more interesting. Let's go to the gacha system over here and summon a new hero. So we look up into the skies here, and we click the normal summon, and let's see what we're gonna get. We got 5 different ones. Oh, and one of them actually seems to be an epic one. So let's go have a look at that one right now. This seems to be our new one. Oh, it's a phoenix. That is so cool. I think this is the new one, right? Yeah, it definitely is. It's level 1. So let's go level that up right now. And then, maybe we can use this guy in the next battle. We do have to figure out, of course, then which of our other heroes we don't want to use anymore. So let's go have a look at this guy's skills real quick. This one deals 100 damage to one enemy and inflicts 1 stack of burn, so that could be kind of useful. And this one ignites the Cosmo to bring, just read the skill description, to bring the enemy to trillions worlds apart, clings to the enemy and burns, dealing 50% Cosmo damage to both the target and self 5 times. Wait, so I'm gonna inflict damage to myself. Other enemy units with burn will also be engulfed in flames. Phoenix Ikki will take no damage if fiery protection is in effect. Okay, that's interesting. So fiery protection we haven't really unlocked yet, but I guess when we then unlock that one, we can start using this searing cinders. But until then, though, I don't think I'm going to use Ikki here because inflicting damage to ourselves just kind of seems a bit counterproductive. So now how about we continue with the main story mission and we can talk a bit about the combat system. So far I've been using the auto system, but if we turn that off, I'll show you guys how each of our heroes has a normal attack, and then it has these 2 or 3 special abilities that cost mana, and mana is shared across all of our heroes, so we have to be kind of strategic about which of our heroes should be able to use their special attacks in this turn. And then, of course, if you don't want to bother with any of that, you can turn on the auto mode. Like it or hate it, it is pretty decent for grinding. I typically don't like auto systems, but I gotta admit, in this game there's lots of combat to go through, and it is kind of useful. Let's take a look at this guy's skills though. Gathers the power of the wolves and increases 15% and 480 physical and Cosmo attack for a teammate for 1 action round. That is super beneficial, so we're going to use that on this guy. And we're going to use one of the best attacks from this unit, the dragon there. Look at that. That attacks all of the enemy units, and then we can use this guy's special ability. And now we've run out of mana. You guys can see the amount of mana in the top right corner. We have 0 left. We started with 4. So now we can't use any of the special abilities for this guy. We have to stick with a normal attack, which actually also dealt a nice amount of damage because that was a critical attack. And then lastly, we've got our healer here, and we can't use any of our healing skills because we don't have any mana left. Not that we have to either. We don't need that right now, but still, even if we wanted to, we just couldn't do it. This time, though, I'm gonna use this wolf power-up attack on our unit on the left side, though. I'm gonna continue using the dragon skill to attack all of the enemies, and then with this guy, I'm gonna use the basic attack, and there's a very good reason I'm doing this, because look at this attack, though. Deals 80% physical damage to all enemies, and immediately casts a 0-cost unicorn gallop if an enemy unit is killed. So if we can use this one now and kill one enemy, we're actually gonna kill all of them, because we're gonna continue using that skill over and over again, and it can be stacked. I love that hero so much. So we won this battle pretty easily. We did also just upgrade our heroes, so I didn't expect anything else. And now there's a bit of more story that we're gonna skip for now, but that is the combat system that you can look forward to if you choose to play with the auto system off instead of on. Now, when you're just starting out with this game, you will definitely want to join a legion, which is what they call the guilds in this game, as soon as you can, as there are lots of legion activities as well, and we didn't even look at those yet, but the rewards from doing those activities is a currency that can be used in the legion shop, and the game does have quite a few of these special currencies that we can earn for free, and a surprisingly small amount of things that we can actually buy for real-life money. Although there is, of course, still the gacha system, which is where I presume this game is making most of its money at the moment, but we'll get back to talking about the monetization system in just a bit. Because first, let's exit this battle and let's exit this entire story, because I want to show you guys that if we click the daily buttons over here, what we'll see, in addition to just seeing the different gameplay modes, is that we can also see which of these game modes that cost stamina, which is an energy system that this game has, sadly, and this does of course put a limit on how long you can play the game, at least in one setting, but unlike some games with energy systems, we actually have a decent amount of stamina, and it does regenerate relatively quickly, and we can also get 120 extra stamina for free every day without paying. But as you guys can see, these 4 down here, the Dimension, the Epic Runes, the Saint Quests, and the Titans, all cost stamina. They're even called stamina gameplay game modes, and then the ones you've got up here at the top are called attempt gameplay, and they don't cost any stamina. Now, the main story missions and the side missions also cost stamina, so you will eventually run out of stamina if you continue playing this game, say, for 2 or 3 hours at a time. Now, the last major system we haven't really talked about yet is the PvP system, but that's because the PvP honestly isn't that interesting. We are fighting another player's heroes controlled by an AI, and because of the cash shops, this is bound to be pay to win eventually. So let's just get into it though. Let's talk more specifically about the monetization, because that is where I potentially see a true issue with this game, is in its monetization system, because it is insanely difficult to pull some of these best saints called Gold Saints. Now, if those are only needed for PvP, then that's fine, I don't care, but if I can't complete the single-player campaign mission because of this gacha system, then I'd be rather pissed, honestly, and so that is a concern of mine. However, though, if you've played the game already, do let me know how you find the pulls from this gacha system, and if you've been able to enjoy the campaign and your other game modes without spending money on the game. So the only question still to answer, of course, is if Saint Seiya Awakening is actually worth playing for you guys. If you know the franchise, I would say probably yes, because it's gonna be a great throwback, and I'm sure you'll be glued to the screen in one huge nostalgic throwback session. Now, as someone who don't know about the Saint Seiya series already, I'd argue that the game is worth checking out simply because of the insane amount of content and the high quality, but if you don't like team-based strategy RPGs, you're probably not gonna like this one either, though. So that's gonna be my conclusion. I would love to see the stamina system removed and higher pull rates for Saints, but it is overall a high quality game, and as long as you don't mind the grind, you can probably get a good maybe 20 to 40 hours of fun gameplay out of this game before the monetization might, and I need to emphasize might, start holding you back, because that has yet to be seen. And so with that said, it is now time for the mobile gaming news of the day, which is that Call of Duty Mobile hit 3 million downloads in just the first 24 hours after being globally released. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm still highly addicted to the game, so I think those downloads are very well deserved. But that is all for now. I hope that you've had a great time here today. Thank you for sticking around till the end of this video, and until next time, just keep gaming, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys around.